What's going on, guys? Gomes here, back again on another MLB The Show 19 Diamond Dynasty video. Today we're coming back for my part 3 on the best cards in Diamond Dynasty. I made 2 other renditions of this video, and so that's why some of these guys who I think are fantastic are not included in this one. Also want to put out a disclaimer, these cards are only cards that I have personally used. I do not quite have Willie Mays, however I am getting ever so close. I'm only a few cards away, and also I recently picked up Honus Wagner. I did finish that off. If you guys would like a video of how I got him and how you can get him for extremely cheap, I will come out with that tomorrow. But yeah, only cards that I have personally used. Quickly, if you guys could leave a like down below on these videos if you guys are enjoying them. It definitely helps me out a ton as far as growing. Speaking of growing, if you guys have not subscribed yet, make sure to do so. A lot of cool MLB content coming up. Maybe might dip into some older MLB The Shows for some interesting videos pretty soon, so that's also cool and going to be on the channel soon. But let's go ahead and get right into things. Now, the first guy I want to talk about, now I alluded to him in my last one, and that is signature Ken Griffey Jr. Of course, at that point this card was, I don't think he was out. I think the card was out, but I really hadn't tried him other than a debut on my channel. But this card is better than I really could have ever imagined. He is fantastic. You know, these stats that I have for him so far, only 85 at bats, which, to be fair, is a little bit light. I do play some games kind of, against friends where stats don't count always if a game does quit out. So I do play with them a little bit more, but those stats don't necessarily always show. But of the time that I have used them, hitting 365, OPS at 1300, these are really good stats. He is so amazing. Really big fan of him. I will say that I know a lot of people have issues with him defensively because of animations. He has diamond defense, 96 fielding, 84 speed, yet somehow he has some of the worst animations in the game. I've seen clips, I've seen videos. That doesn't really happen to me. Fortunately for myself, see, he has 0 errors and he always plays really well defensively, and he's just locked down. If there's a ball hit to center field, there is a good chance, 95% chance that Griffey is going to go ahead and track it down. So a big fan of him. And his duo partner right over there to the left side in left field is Jim Edmonds. Ever since I finished Moments Extreme, he has been the guy out there in left field for me, and he's been phenomenal. This is one of my favorite cards in the game. I still think Lou Gehrig is my #1 this year. Ichiro probably like 2 or 3. Jim Edmonds, there's something special about him. His swing is just something different. Even against left-handers who he only has 91 and 92 splits versus, he is just so good. There's exactly no flaws with this card. He has 64 speed, which could be better, but it is still not bad at all. Yeah, I'm hitting 462. I'm hitting higher against left-handers than I am versus righties. It's crazy. I don't know if I can see my home runs against lefties but I really do hit well against lefties with him. I do play him out in left field where he still has the diamond shield and that 64 speed. A lot of parks, usually left field would be a little bit in, a little bit closer, not as far, such as like Fenway Park. Left field is not all that spacious, so there's not as much ground he has to cover, and he just does a fantastic job. Really a big fan of Jim Edmonds out there in left field. I strongly recommend you guys to go ahead and complete the first string, the cautionary Moments Extremes. He is definitely worth it. He is so good. One of the pitchers I want to talk about right here is going to be Tom Seaver. He was, of course, within the 7th inning program, I do believe. He is the guy who I thought was the best, and yep, I stick with that 100%. Pretty much 50 innings pitched with him so far. He has not lost a game, interestingly enough. ERA at 1.63, whip under .80, 48 strikeouts, about a strikeout an inning, which, to be fair, in this year's game is not bad at all. Usually, if you think about back in like MLB 16, MLB 17, you definitely could rack up more strikeouts, but since 18 and 19, just issues with the PCI and timing, it is harder to strike out guys, but still 48 does his job. 4 walks only, 88 walk 9. This card is really good, and I just feel like I pitch very solid with him. Like I said, I have not lost a single game with him so far, and he's just very reliable. Thinking of guys like Kershaw, I'm starting to have problems with Kershaw now. I think that that might have something to do with the fact that just more people get used to him because everybody has that card. But Tom Seaver has been Tom terrific and a half for me. Definitely recommend that that guy once again. Let's talk about one reliever right here. That's going to be Trevor Hoffman. It's interesting because at first when I had this card and I realized I'm kind of blocking some of those stats, just so if you guys are extremely interested, 1.63 ERA is 0.79 whip. See, I wasn't lying. But going back to Trevor Hoffman, when I first got this card, I really did not like him. He got beat up pretty badly, and that kind of reflects on this ERA. That would be below 2 if I didn't struggle so much with him at the early parts of when I did have him. But he has been really good for me. 63 strikeouts and 50 innings pitched. So he definitely pitches, he definitely gets a lot of strikeouts for not throwing all that hard, only 94, 95 miles per hour on that four-seam fastball. The circle change is so good to mix up rhythms, at least in my opinion. He is the best pitches in the game. If I was to make a reliever, these are the exact pitches that I would want to have. Super slow curveball as, once again. There's no flaws. I like this card so much. He has great walk 9 at 94, 112 pitch clutch. If he could throw 100 miles per hour, this card would be overpowered. This card wouldn't be fair. I really like signature Trevor Hoffman so much, and he is another gem. He's another diamond of the rough, especially at the start. I did not think I would really like him, but he definitely changed my mind on that. Jackie Robinson is another guy I want to talk about. He was within the same Griffey program, him and Mike Piazza. I haven't really used Piazza. When I have, I really was not a big fan of him, but Jackie has been pretty good for me in about 80 at-bats since I've had him. The big thing with Jackie, he doesn't hit as many home runs as Ken Griffey Jr. does, obviously, but that power is so useful. Defensively, he has no errors for me. I thought he had one or two, I guess not, but the speed is just such a table setter to have right there. It is so helpful. Even though he only has gold defense at 86, if there's a shallow pop fly hit within center right field, he's going to track it down. He's going to make the run and catch. Maxed out vision. He has a huge PCI, maxed out bunting, which every now and then I do drop it down sometimes if the occasion is right, and I really do like Jackie Robinson once again. Moving on to the next one, Josh Donaldson, another guy I did not really like at first. When I first had him, he was within the 5th inning program alongside Lou Gehrig and Bob Gibson, who two of them I really liked, and Donaldson's really turned it around. He hits for a lot of power. Batting average still at 321. For a while it was kind of like 260. He was the definition of if he gets a hit, it's going to be a home run. And legit half of his hits have been home runs. You can still see that right there. But Donaldson, gold defense, plays above his rating right there. I don't think I really had any problems. No errors. Sometimes he doesn't get the best reaction, but that's going to happen with only 76 over there at the hot corner. But yeah, just tons of power. He is a lefty killer. 90 vision, which is definitely good enough unless you're facing like a Bob Feller, somebody who I think has pretty much the highest hit 9 in the game. But he is really good, really solid. Like I said, sometimes he does strike out about 10 because of that vision, but ton of power, has hit a lot of clutch home runs for me. Really like that Josh Donaldson. Joe Morgan is another guy. I think he was the last guy. He was one of the last two, or no, he was not the last two. He was the third. I picked Frank Thomas, or no, I picked Tony Gwynn, Frank Thomas, then Joe Morgan. God damn it, if I could think. But he has maxed out vision, 94 speed, diamond defense at second base, 100 contact per side. Really like this card once again. I think he's hit 2 walk-off home runs for me. He does strike out sometimes for me, which is interesting. He has 8 punch-outs, despite having pretty much maxed out vision. I don't think I like him that much lefty on lefty. Yep, only hitting 222. But he does do a good job for me. Like I said, cleans up everything that's hit over to him on at second base. Very fast. I don't really steal that often, so only 1 stolen base for him, but really big fan of him. If you guys have not hit level 100 diamond, I definitely think your number 1 pick should be Tony Gwynn, and then Joe Morgan should be your number 2, at least in my opinion. We got 3 more guys to cover. This one is going to be about JT Realmuto. Now, these next three are going to be finest players, so I haven't had too many at-bats with them, but in this short sample size, JT Realmuto has been really good. The thing I like about him, he has 82 speed at catcher. You know, this is something you could pretty much only achieve with a creative player, but he is better than your creative player. Yes, he doesn't have the liberty and the capability of being able to be a switch hitter, or for you to pick up his swing or stance, whatever you like, but he has a 95 arm, 85 fielding, 80 plus speed behind behind the plate, 100 plus vision, 100 contact pretty much per side, 99 power versus lefties. So good, does a little bit of everything, does nothing wrong. He is just really good. There's really nothing bad to say about JT Realmuto. He's just a really well-rounded player right there. Javier Baez, once again, pre-order card. I don't even know how to explain how good he has been. I guess there is a pretty good way to explain, first of all, because even though I only have about 45 at-bats with him, if you were to look at my stats with the live series Javi Baez, you would see I liked this card a lot, even though he had 43 vision, and I think they increased that at some point. I used him when he was like an 85 overall card. I just really like the Javi Baez swing. I think he's really good, a lot of speed, and he does hit for some power. I like this card, and then the finest is just otherworldly. He has been so phenomenal for me, which is interesting because now that I have Honus Wagner, I think these two players are kind of similar to each other. Baez is more power, and then Honus has more contact, a little bit more speed as well. I'm gonna have to try out Honus and see who I like better, but so far Javier Baez has been kind of irreplaceable. And then Garrett Cole, another guy, not too many reps so far, only 14 and 2/3 innings pitched, but he has done a good job. He has walked 3 guys, which, to be fair, he has 92, walked 9, but I don't know, sometimes you guys know just as well as I do, sometimes you'll hit your meter, it just does not go necessarily where you would like it to go. 14 punch outs in 14 and 2/3 innings pitched, so that's pretty solid. Like I said, pretty much 1 an inning is on average for me personally. 1.84 ERA, 0.89 whip, really solid once again. Maxed out K9, 112 hit 9, 113 pitch clutch. The only bad thing is his home runs per 9, but lucky for me, that does not matter anymore. That stat does not affect gameplay. And yeah, these are my top 10. I think that was 10, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 guys. Those are my 30 technical guys that I've covered from the 2 previous episodes, and then this one right here. I do quickly want to talk about Babe Ruth once more. I haven't given like a review. I've gotten about 15, 13 at-bats with him. I do think this is a really good card. I'm going to get him eventually. The only downside, he would have a batting average above 500. There's just sometimes with this game you can hit the ball too well and it will go right at somebody. You can square it up and it's just going to go right at a fielder, which is annoying. So I think Babe Ruth, if you've seen me play with him, you guys know I've done really well with him. He hits the ball hard pretty much every time. It's just sometimes it goes right at somebody, which is frustrating. But Babe Ruth, I want to pick him up eventually, and defensively 75 speed, 64 speed in left field, no issues once again. That's going to be more than okay. But I don't think I'm going to be making a part 4. I plan on kind of ending this series right here at my top 30 players that we have seen, and then Babe Ruth, I wanted to discuss him as well. So I'm going to be trying out Honus. Like I said, let me know if you guys want to see that video. Let me know your favorite players that you guys have gotten to use within MLB The Show 19 so far. We've seen the bulk of the content that we're going to see. There's still definitely some more signature cards to be released. Albert Pujols, for example, I know he's one of the top guys. Mike Schmidt is another one. Hershiser, Mike Trout, still definitely some gems that have to become out, but all the finest cards we've seen and a good chunk, the good majority of the fantastic signature cards that we're going to see within MLB 19. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like down below. Hope you guys have a great day. That goes out.